You are riding in a self-driving car when suddenly the doors lock, the route changes, and you have lost all control. Then a mysterious voice tells you, you are going to die. Hello, book lovers, and welcome back, or welcome to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. It is a little after 9 o'clock on Monday, and I figured I would go ahead and start a week-long vlog. I've hesitated on doing week-long vlogs because oftentimes I always worry about finishing books in time, or not being in the middle of a book when the vlog completed. But I've decided I'm not going to stress about that anymore. If I don't finish a book, if you don't get my final thoughts, just consider it a cliffhanger for my wrap up where you will get my final thoughts. So just a few moments ago, I finished A Skinful of Shadows, which is a book I carried over from my July TBR. Today is August, excuse me, today is August 8th, and I have finished one book off of my official TBR out of the 5 that I have. So I decided I would go ahead and see if I can get through some more of those this week. I will be starting with The Passengers by John Mars. This is the one library book that I have right now on my TBR, and I'm pretty sure that all my library books are overdue, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can power through this so I can go ahead and return it. This is a sci-fi thriller about a small group of people who have been trapped in their self-driving cars. The cars have taken control and are driving them to unknown locations, and as you heard from the passage that I read, is saying that they could die. And it seems in this book that either the world or a small group of people is being tasked with deciding who gets to live and who gets to die, or who has to die, I guess. There is a suicidal man on board, so you could say who gets to die for that guy. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I'm probably going to start getting ready for bed soonish. I'm kind of a 9:30 lights out kind of girl, but I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit into this, and I will give you an update when I have something to say on it. Alright, so I have just finished part 1 of The Passengers. It was about 33 pages, and it seemed like it was just introducing us to each of the individual victims of this, I'm going to call it like a cyber terrorist attack. I'm assuming that's what it is. So we are following a pregnant woman, we are following a couple, and it seems like they are in 2 separate cars, but both of them have been kidnapped, and we are following another man. I can't remember if there was anything special about him, to be honest. And then we are following a mother who is trying to escape a abusive household after her husband was arrested. So I so far am enjoying her the most. I'm definitely rooting for her out of everyone else so far. If I'm supposed to be, rooting for, I obviously want them all to live. So far it's, really intense. It's setting up, the situation really well. We can feel everybody's fear. Oh, there was one more person who is a old actress. And it seems like she so far doesn't really understand that she's in danger. She thinks it's like a reality TV show that her what is he called, like an agent or something, got her onto. But everyone else realizes that they're in like deep shit and everything. So definitely enjoying the vibes, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody handles the situation, both the people that are the victims and the rest of the world. All right, so it is a little before 7, and I have reached end of chapter 9, so a little over 50 pages in this book. We were just introduced to the person who is going to be, I guess, our eyes and ears in a group of people who will be primarily tasked with choosing who gets to live and die in these situations. Now, they have not yet been assigned that task, but based off what I know about the story, I'm assuming that that is well, we'll be getting to in a moment. It is called the Vehicle Inquest Jury Duty. And pretty much it is a jury that listens to the black boxes that are in these self-driving cars and decides if the car or the person in the car is to blame. It seems that usually the person is blamed, which to me is kind of weird considering the person has no control. But it's obvious that they're really pushing for these cars to be the norm and to be the only thing that is on the road. So for these groups, it seems that it's mostly higher ups in government and one random citizen, which in this case is Libby, the person that we're following, and she is very anti-advanced technology. She does not get into the cars that drive themselves or use the public transportation because it uses only self-driving technology, and she has like older cell phones and things like that. So this group of people doesn't like her because she's obviously fighting to have the machine blamed instead of the the dead person. So that will be an interesting point of view to have someone who's fighting against technology in this sort of position where she can maybe argue a little bit more for why these cars are really dangerous, especially considering at this time these cars have been used to kidnap a bunch of people. So I will go ahead and update you the next time I have something to say. Your little pink nose matches the blanket. Good morning. Hey guys, so it is a little before my lunch break. I'm probably gonna work on homework, but I have been reading The Passengers a little bit throughout the day, and I'm now on chapter 29, page 134. This book is, I mean, I knew it would be pretty intense, but it's actually pretty brutal. So just make sure you check some trigger warnings before going into it. It's definitely has high stakes and is addressing certain issues, specifically at this point. Immigration and racism is definitely very prominent at this time, and is also discussing the issue of AI and putting our trust in technology, and us ourselves not really living our own lives, making our own decisions, and relying so heavily on technology. So that's definitely being discussed in here. Very interesting. And I am hoping to get to the 50% mark, which I actually don't know what that is. So let's see. So the halfway point is 170. So I should definitely get to that by the end of today. But I will go ahead and give you another update either when I finish the book or have something else to say. So I'm just a few more pages in, probably about 100 pages, or not 100 pages, 150 pages into the book. And I'm just finding it really interesting watching the way these people are reacting to being in this, near-death experience or soon-to-be death, facing death kind of situation, what they're doing to survive, to kind of try to convince people to save them. And that's gonna become even more prominent now because each of the members of the jury are being given the opportunity to interview one of the passengers to kind of try and ask them the questions that will convince the public to save that one person, because at this point only one person can survive. So it's very interesting. Also, some of them are starting to turn against each other because of course they want to survive and they know that other people have to be taken out in order for them to live. So everything is incredibly interesting at this point. And I'm really excited to see how the interviews go. This book is definitely pointing out the fact that people are incredibly cruel on the internet, and that they are willing to let a lot of terrible things happen and sometimes promote it if they are behind the safety of their screen. So that is becoming a very big theme of the story. Very interesting, enjoying all the themes throughout the story. So highly suggest if you are at all interested in, themes of social media, or AI, anything like that. All right, so it is after work, so a little after 5 on Wednesday, and I am about to head to the gym. And when I get home, I have to do some homework, which is unfortunate because all I want to do is read The Passengers. This book is so addicting, so intense. I mean, it's honestly just drama and scandal after drama after drama, and I'm having a really great time. The interviews have just gotten started, but there's already been some pretty big reveals about who our passengers really are. I'm definitely interested in learning more of their dirty secrets. But for now, since I'm heading to the gym, I'm going to be reading or listening to my audiobook. It's a nonfiction called The Devil's Highway by Luis Alberto Yuri. I'm a little bit over 50% through that at this point, I believe. I haven't listened to it for a couple days. I can't remember exactly where I'm at. But pretty much we are following the true events of a group of, I think, like 26 people who went into the desert in Arizona, called the Devil's Highway. And I believe I think 14 of them didn't make it out. And so we're following that. These people were traveling to the US illegally. It seems most of them were kind of hoping to come over to work for like a season so that they could get some money to either, buy furniture, buy a new roof, maybe buy a car or send their kids to school, things like that. So right now, we have explored a little bit of the border, kind of like border patrol, a little bit of border patrol down there, of course, at the Mexican-US border. We've also explored a little bit of the life of coyotes, who are the ones that often transport people, as well as some of the things that cause people to try to come to the US illegally, as well as the people that work in Mexico to kind of set people up with coyotes. And of course, a little bit about how certain changes to the border have changed the way that people are trying to cross. So very interesting story. Obviously, they're going through a very harrowing experience. Right now, we are at the part where they are in the desert, and the effects of heat exhaustion are definitely taking effect. So it's only going to get more gruesome from here, I'm assuming. But you know, interesting story. Important to hear the dangers that these people are facing, and to hear the reasonings behind why they are coming, because oftentimes it's, you know, for the benefit of their families, things like that, due to them experiencing things like poverty back in Mexico. So of course, always reading nonfiction books and things that increase my understanding of different subgroups of people, and of course increasing my empathy towards, you know, minority groups that I'm not a part of. So I thought this was kind of funny that I got served with jury duty today. Hopefully they don't need me. This isn't my first time being summoned. I think there's been like 2 other times, but I've never had to go in. But it is kind of weird that I keep getting called in. I think my dad has only been called in once. And the first time happened when he was like over 50. So the fact that I'm 26 and this is like my 3rd or something time being called in is interesting. They really want me to serve on jury. But I think it's funny because one of our characters is on the jury right now. So, you know, they're on that vehicle jury to see, you know, if it's the car's fault or the person's fault, based off what's on the black box. And of course, things are not going so well for that jury at this point. So of course, me seeing that I have possibly to do jury duty, I'm like, oh no, hopefully hopefully no one's hacking anyone and I don't have to choose who live or dies. So it's Thursday, a little before 2 o'clock. I'm still at work, obviously. But I just got to part 3 of this book. So I'm at page 265. And this is a wild ride. There's so many twists in here that I didn't see coming. And there was something I suspected happened that did happen, but then something on top of that happened that I didn't see coming. It's just a really crazy ride. I am enjoying the, as I already stated, the topics that it's broaching, including more so than ever our desensitization to violence and death, especially through, you know, images that are being seen on media and through social media, and that that is affecting our, you know, reactions to people suffering and things like that. So very interested. I think I have about 70 pages left, and the hacking situation seems to be over. It says that this is taking place 6 months after the climax of that event. So I'm interested to see how everyone is doing after such an event, and where the story is going to go, because we still have 70 pages. So obviously this author still has some surprises up their sleeve, maybe. All right, so I'm about to read the last 40 or so pages of The Passengers. I just got off work. I'm hoping I don't get stung by a wasp, because my dad recently took out one of their nests around here, and there's a couple of them hanging around, possibly looking for revenge. So I'm just gonna sit very still and finish this book and give you my final thoughts. All right, I know I said a second ago I was gonna finish this, but my dad just came home, so we're gonna go to grab dinner real quick. But I just finished part 3 and got to part 4. And this book is like, you know what? Let me just throw in another twist, and then one more unexpected event, and I'm like getting whiplash over here. So I'm very interested in how the last, so probably like 20 to 30 pages are. But tonight, I will finish it tonight. I will go ahead and give you the final update. But now, time for some food. Alright guys, I have finally finished The Passengers by John Mars. I think I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. I just had a really great time with it. I thought the pacing was really great for the majority of the book. I felt the ending was a little slow just compared to how fast-paced the book was for the most part. There was also a character that died towards the beginning of the book that I was interested in kind of hearing what came of that, you know, kind of like their family's reaction, the public's reaction to when they maybe found out the truth about that person, but we never got that, so that was a little bit disappointing. I also had occasionally trouble with the writing, just a little, and I think it's because the author is British, so sometimes the sentence structures were a little, just like slightly off from, you know, what I would expect to see in maybe like a book written by an English author. But otherwise, I just had a really great time. Love the commentary, love the issues that were addressed in this book, and overall it was just really intense, really exciting, and thoroughly entertaining. So I'm definitely a sci-fi thriller girl now, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more books in that genre. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and head inside and edit my video, and I will let you know when Alright guys, so I have gone ahead and finished editing my video, and it is exporting right now, so if you can hear my computer fighting for its life in the background, that is why. It is I think around 9:30ish, so I'm not going to be up too much longer, but I did want to just quickly share the next book that I will be starting for this vlog, since I will probably read maybe a chapter or so, depending on how long the chapters are in this book. But that is Radiance by Grace Draven. Yep. And I did find out that this is a part of a series, so excited to read it. Of course, I was hoping not to start too many series since I'm already in the middle of a bunch. But oh well. So this book follows, obviously, these two characters. It's a fantasy romance. We have two people that are related to royalty, but they're pretty far down the line. So they're technically of little importance, but you know, their family still deemed them worthy of a strategic marriage. So the two agree to marry each other, and when they see each other, they're like, damn, they're kind of ugly, because they're of, you know, different species. But eventually they come to care for each other as friends, and then of course fall in love. I'm not really sure what else is going to happen in this book. It says, two people brought together by the trappings of duty and politics will discover they are destined for each other, even as the powers of a hostile kingdom scheme to tear them apart. So I don't know if that hostile kingdom is one of their kingdoms or a third party. So, you know, we'll just go in. I've heard nothing but great things, and it is the shortest book on my TBR this month. This was for my TBR game, for a fantasy under 300 pages. And this is also on my list for 2022, or the 22 books I want to read in 2022, which The Passengers was actually also on. So that was nice. And this also happens to be a 5-star prediction for me. So I guess we will see if I predicted correctly. work while the cats get ready for sleep. So the way that our male main character is describing the female, it's just making me laugh. And I have a feeling that watching the two of them describe each other, because they're from different species, so they find each other rather repulsive, is going to be pretty entertaining. Like, he sees human eyes as parasites because in his species their eyes are completely black. So when he sees, the humans like moving their eyes around, he sees them as like these little parasites that just like, are completely separate from the human but reside within the skull. So he says things like, her parasitic gaze scrutinized every part of him. And then he says she possessed the teeth of a tiny horse. I mean, I don't think I would consider it a compliment if someone compared my teeth to that of a horse. So I'm only on page 9, but so far I am already enjoying it, and I'm thinking I'll have a lot of fun with this story. Honestly, did not think that this book would be so humorous. Not only do they find the other species unattractive, but they also are completely disgusted by their food. And watching our main character, the prince, trying to eat potatoes is thoroughly entertaining. So far, I'm really enjoying the interactions the two have had together. I can quickly see a friendship growing, and look forward to watching that friendship blossom into something more. So I'm on page 72, and I just think their relationship is so sweet. Both of them have experienced a lot of loneliness in their life, and so they're both seem to be really happy to find someone who can be a true companion to them. And just watching them grow closer and closer is just the sweetest thing. At this point, it's not even, romantic or anything, but it's very genuine. So I'm really enjoying that. It also seems that once they reach his kingdom, they'll probably face a bit of drama at the court, as is common among courts, I suppose. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how she fares among the Kai, I think they're called the Kai. So that'll be fun. Hey guys, so it is a little past noon on Saturday. I just finished my big homework assignment for the weekend, so that's a good amount of pressure off my shoulders. I'm about to read one more chapter of Radiance, which should take me to exactly the 50% mark. I wanted to give a quick update because I finished The Devil's Highway yesterday at the gym, which was the nonfiction audiobook that I was listening to. I do not rate my nonfiction books, which you may or may not know, but I highly recommend this one, especially the audiobook format. The writing in this book was actually like really beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever read a nonfiction book with such beautiful writing before. And I just loved the topics that he broached. He gave us a pretty good overview of the process of choosing to cross the border and crossing the border, as well as the border patrol. I would say it's a good beginner's book because it doesn't like deep dive into any of those specific topics too much. So I think it would be a really good starting point, and then to maybe read some more books that focus more heavily on, the process of why do people want to come to America, the life of, coyotes, or life of border patrol, or of course life of immigrants once they arrive in America, legally or illegally. So yeah, I really enjoyed the story overall. Highly recommend. Very emotional, very moving. And I think audiobook wise, the only audiobook I have right now available, so I'll go ahead and read that is called Slewfoot, I believe. I don't remember the author's name, so I'll just leave a little image of it here so you can see that. I heard Riley Marie talking about it, and I believe she really liked it. And I believe at that time, Summerween was in progress. So I was like, you know what, I kind of want to read a Halloween-ish book, so I went ahead and got on hold for it. So I will maybe start that today, because we have a yard sale coming up in September. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and look through some of my clothes, see what doesn't fit anymore, because some of that clothes is from high school. So I haven't cleaned out my closet for a hot second. So I might listen to the audiobook while I do that. I will, of course, unhaul some books for the yard sale. I wasn't planning on unhauling books until the end of the year, but I figured, might as well get rid of them now, instead of just having them sit around. So you'll probably see an unhaul video for me sometime in September, if not sooner. Who knows, I might even film it today because I don't know what else I want to do. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on that. I'll probably update you the next time when I finish this book, which will hopefully be this weekend. And that'll probably just about wrap up this vlog. Good morning. Ignore the mess in the back. I'm just gonna stand like this to cover it. My clothes pile of shame. So it is just a few minutes before 8 o'clock on Sunday. We are about to head out for a hike at Pinnacle Peak, I think it's called, over by Mount Rainier. So hopefully I will get home in time to complete my book. I have about 70 pages or so of that left. I'm trying to make it so that I'm not covering my face while I'm talking, so we're just gonna have it weirdly to the side. So I have about 70 pages of Radiance left. Yesterday, it did go from a 4.5 to a 5-star. So far this 5-star prediction is turning out to be true, and I'm super excited to finish up that book. I have also listened to 11% of Slewfoot by, I believe it's Brahm, and so far enjoying it is the wrong word because it's an incredibly frustrating book because it takes place in a Puritan society, but I have a feeling that I'm going to enjoy the book if it is a revenge tale. So I will go ahead and of course have some b-roll from the hike, and then hopefully later today I will be updating you on my final thoughts of Radiance.
the 2022 month-long round of the Bookoplathon.
All right, book lovers, we did it. We have finished Radiance by Grace Draven. I finished it a little while ago, but I got distracted by other things, including Becca and the Books readathon announcement, which I finally got to. Very excited for that. I will definitely be taking part, and hopefully you guys are as well, so I can see your videos where you make your TBR using her board. But I made this book a 5-star prediction because I had heard only good things about it. I did go into it a little nervously with a little bit of trepidation. I did go into this a little hesitant to fully say it will be a 5-star, just because lately with romance I haven't had the best of luck with hyped books, specifically The Hating Game and The Spanish Love Deception. But this book has broken that curse. This is a 5-star read. So I am having such a wonderful time with this couple. They are probably the sweetest, most romantic couple that I've ever read. I'm absolutely in love with them. They started out on good terms. They were at no point enemies or anything like that. They're like, we're gonna marry each other, and it could be worse. I think you're ugly, but I like your personality. You have a great personality, so let's be friends. And then of course it grows into something more. But they have just such chemistry and such great communication, and they really, even from the beginning before they become lovers, really care for one another. So that was really great to see. I also enjoyed getting to learn more about the world that they live in, and the ending of the book is definitely letting us know that bad things are on the horizon. So our characters are definitely going to be facing some more trials in the future. I'll have to go ahead and order book 2 so it gets here, and maybe I'll even be able to read it next month. But I highly recommend that you're into romance. Maybe if you're looking to get into a monster romance, because as far as monsters go, he's pretty human. And of course, if you enjoy I don't want to say forced marriage. I mean, it technically is, but they, pretty happily went into it. But also, if you like friends to lovers, highly suggest. I am still working on a Slewfoot. I'm only 11% into that. I listened to it a little bit more this morning while I got ready for our hike. A hike which was unfortunately a bit disappointing. We were hoping for some views of Mount Rainier, which we got like a tiny peek of it through the trees, which is why it's not featured in the B-roll other than on the drive there. And we were also hoping for some wildflowers, and there was dandelions, which I guess are wildflowers. But otherwise, yeah, so working on Slewfoot, enjoying that as much as one can enjoy a infuriating read about Puritan society. And I am feeling pretty happy about the reading this week. I went ahead and finished 3 books. I started out with The Passengers, which I gave a 4.5 stars. Or did I give that 5 stars? I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And then I finished The Devil's Highway, which I didn't rate, but I really enjoy and highly recommend. And then I finished Radiance just in the nick of time and gave it 5 stars. So hopefully my high ratings continue throughout the month. I'm probably going to start with The Electric Air, and maybe read, which one is it called? Blue Lily, Lily Blue. So those are books further into a series, so I'm not going to vlog those. So it'll give me a little break from vlogging as well. Just jumping in real quick before I say goodbye, to announce that I just realized that Radiance is my 80th book of the year, and I had set my reading goal for 80 books. So I have officially, as of August 14th, achieved my annual reading goal. So I guess now I will shoot for over 100. But you know, as always, guys, thank you so much for sticking along for my long vlogs. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!